I purposely ruined my sister's pregnancy announcement at our family dinner because she stole the spotlight from me my entire life. So my sister Ashley has always been the golden child. I'm talking since we were kids. When I was 8 and won the school science fair, my parents threw me a pizza party. Cool, right? Wrong. Ashley was 6 and she literally just stood there eating pizza while my mom kept saying how proud she was of both her girls. Like what? Ashley didn't do anything. When I got into college, my parents were happy for like 5 minutes. Then Ashley got her driver's license that same week, and suddenly that was the bigger deal because, oh, she's so responsible now. I got a card with $50. She got a car. My graduation? Ashley announced she got engaged. My first real job? Ashley had her wedding 3 weeks later, and mom spent the whole time asking me to help with centerpieces instead of celebrating my new position. Fast forward to last month. I'd been dating my boyfriend Greg for 2 years. We'd been talking about getting engaged, and I was pretty sure he was gonna propose soon. I told my mom I had big news and asked her to do a family dinner at her place. Everyone showed up. Mom made her pot roast. Dad was grilling outside. My aunt and uncle came too. I was sitting there at the table waiting for the right moment to hint about me and Greg when Ashley walks in late with her husband. She's got this weird smile on her face, the kind where you know something's up. I'm about to start talking about my news when Ashley suddenly stands up and clinks her glass with a fork. Everyone, Brad and I have an announcement. My mom literally gasps and grabs Ashley's hand. I'm sitting there like, are you kidding me right now? Ashley goes, "We're pregnant!" The whole table explodes. My mom starts crying. My dad's hugging Brad. My aunt's already asking about baby names. Nobody even looked at me. I sat there for a full minute just watching everyone swarm around Ashley. This was my dinner. I organized this. I told mom I had news. That's when I decided screw it. I stood up and raised my glass. Actually, I have an announcement too. Mom barely turned around. Oh honey, can it wait? We're celebrating. No, I said. Everyone got quiet. Ashley was staring at me. I looked right at her and said, I'm also pregnant. The room went dead silent. Greg's face went completely white. He wasn't even holding his fork anymore. My mom's mouth was hanging open. What? Yep, I said. Found out last week. Guess we're both having babies. Ashley's face turned red. Are you serious right now? Yeah, I said. Why wouldn't I be? My mom looked between us. Both my girls. Pregnant at the same time? Greg stood up super fast. His chair scraped against the floor really loud. I need to talk to you. Now. He grabbed my arm and pulled me into the hallway. The second we were alone, he goes, What the hell are you doing? What? I said. You're not pregnant, he whispered. We haven't even... I know that, I said. His face went from confused to mad real quick. Then why would you say that? Because, I said, Ashley always does this. She always takes everything from me. So you just lied? In front of your whole family? It's not a big... Yes, it is, Greg said. He was shaking his head. This is insane. You need to go back in there and tell them the truth. From the dining room, I could hear my mom's voice getting louder. Where did they go? Someone go get them. Greg looked at me. I'm serious. You need to fix this right now. I heard footsteps coming down the hall. Ashley appeared around the corner. Her face was wet. She'd been crying. You're lying, she said. Her voice was shaking. You're lying because you can't stand that I'm happy. I'm not. Yes, you are, Ashley said. You've never been pregnant. You would have told me. We tell each other everything. My mom came up behind her. She was looking at me weird. Honey, is this true? Greg let go of my arm. Everyone was staring at me. I opened my mouth, but Ashley cut me off with a laugh. Not a normal laugh, a scary one. You think you ruined my moment? She said, wiping her tears away. Her whole face changed. I've been sleeping with Greg for 6 months. The hallway tilted. Greg's face went white. Ashley, don't, he said. But she ignored him. Every time you worked late, every time you visited your friend in Boston, he was with me. Mom gasped. I couldn't feel my hands. And guess what? Ashley said, smiling now. I'm actually having twins. She put her hand on her stomach and looked at Greg. Want to tell her who the father really is? The silence that followed was the loudest thing I've ever heard in my life. Greg didn't say anything. He just stood there with his mouth hanging open like a fish out of water. His eyes kept bouncing between me and Ashley like he was watching a tennis match. Well? Ashley said, crossing her arms. Cat got your tongue? I turned to look at Greg. My Greg. The man I'd been planning a future with for 2 years. The man who knew how I took my coffee and which side of the bed I slept on and how much I hated when people cracked their knuckles. Is this true? I asked. My voice came out small, like a little kid's. Greg opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. Tessa, is it true? He looked down at his shoes. Those ugly brown loafers I bought him for his birthday last year. The ones he said were the most comfortable shoes he'd ever owned. Answer me, I said. It's complicated. That's when I knew. My whole body went cold, like someone dumped a bucket of ice water over my head. My legs felt weak and I reached out to grab the wall because I thought I might actually fall over. Complicated? I said. You've been sleeping with my sister for 6 months and it's complicated? Tessa, please, let me explain. Explain what? I was yelling now. I didn't care who heard. Explain how you've been screwing Ashley behind my back. Explain how you got her pregnant. Explain that to me, Greg. My mom stepped forward. Her face was this weird mix of shock and something else I couldn't name. "Girls," she said. "Let's all calm down and—" "Calm down?" I whipped around to face her. "Mom, did you hear what she just said? Greg is the father of her babies. My boyfriend got my sister pregnant." Mom's hand went to her chest. "I'm sure there's been some misunderstanding." "There's no misunderstanding," Ashley said. She was still smiling. Actually smiling. Like this was the best day of her life. "Greg and I have been together for 6 months. The twins are his. Brad knows. He's known for weeks." I looked past Ashley to where Brad was standing at the end of the hallway. His face was blank, totally expressionless. "You knew?" I said to him. Brad just shrugged. "It's complicated." There was that word again. Complicated. "What the hell does that even mean?" I screamed. My dad appeared behind Brad. He had barbecue sauce on his apron and he was holding a pair of tongs like he wasn't sure what to do with them. "What's going on in here?" he asked. I could hear yelling from the backyard. Nobody answered him. We all just stood there in that cramped hallway, the smell of pot roast drifting in from the dining room, with my entire life falling apart around me. Ashley was the one who finally spoke. Of course she was. She always had to have the last word. "Daddy," she said, and her voice got all soft and sweet. The voice she always uses when she wants something. "Tessa's been lying. She said she was pregnant just to ruin my announcement. She's not actually pregnant. Greg just confirmed it." My dad looked at me. "Tessa? Is that true?" I couldn't speak. My throat felt like it was closing up. "She's always been jealous of me," Ashley continued. "Ever since we were kids. She can't stand that good things happen to me. So she tried to ruin my pregnancy announcement with a fake pregnancy of her own." "That's not—" I started, but my voice cracked. "And now she's trying to make up lies about me and Greg to cover up what she did." I stared at her. My sister. The person I'd shared a bathroom with for 18 years. The person who used to crawl into my bed during thunderstorms when we were little. The person who was now standing in front of me, lying through her teeth, with my boyfriend's babies growing inside her. "I'm not making it up," I said. "Greg, tell them." Everyone looked at Greg. He rubbed the back of his neck. That thing he does when he's nervous. I'd seen him do it 1,000 times. Before job interviews. Before meeting my parents. Before asking me to move in with him. "This whole thing has gotten out of hand," he said. "I think we all need to take a breath and—" "Greg," my voice was sharp. "Did you or did you not sleep with my sister?" Another long pause. "It was a mistake," he finally said. I felt like someone had punched me in the stomach. "A mistake," I repeated. "It didn't mean anything. Ashley was going through a hard time with Brad and we were just talking and one thing led to another and one thing led to another." I was screaming so loud my throat hurt. I didn't care. Nothing mattered anymore. "You've been sleeping with my sister for 6 months. She's pregnant with twins. That's not a mistake, Greg. That's an affair. Tessa, please." He reached for my arm. I slapped his hand away. "Don't touch me," I said. "Don't ever touch me again." I turned to Ashley. She was still standing there with that smug look on her face. Like she'd won something. Like this was all just a game to her. "Why?" I asked her. "Why would you do this to me?" Ashley tilted her head. "Do what to you?" "This. All of this. Greg. The pregnancy. Everything. I didn't do anything to you," she said. "Greg made his own choices. It's not my fault he wanted me instead of you." The words hit like a slap. "You're my sister," I said. My voice was barely a whisper now. All the fight had gone out of me. "We're supposed to protect each other. We're supposed to be on the same side." Ashley laughed. That same cold laugh from before. "We've never been on the same side, Tessa. You've always hated me because Mom and Dad love me more. Because I'm prettier than you. Because everything comes easier to me. You've spent your whole life being jealous and bitter and trying to compete with me for attention. That's not—" "Yes, it is." She cut me off. "And you know what? I'm tired of pretending. I'm tired of acting like you're not pathetic. You're 28 years old and you work at a coffee shop. I'm a manager. Whatever. You live in a studio apartment the size of a closet. Your boyfriend would rather be with me. Your own parents had to be reminded to call you on your birthday last year." I flinched. She knew about that. I'd told her about that in confidence after crying on her couch for an hour. "You've always been the backup plan," Ashley continued. "The afterthought. The boring one. And deep down, you know it's true." My mom stepped between us. "Ashley, that's enough." "It's not enough," Ashley said. "She tried to ruin my pregnancy announcement. She needs to hear the truth." "The truth?" I said. "You want to talk about truth? You've been sleeping with my boyfriend and you're calling me pathetic? At least I can keep a man interested." Something inside me snapped. I don't remember making the decision to do it. One second I was standing there, shaking with rage and humiliation, and the next second my hand was connecting with Ashley's face. The slap echoed through the hallway. Ashley stumbled back, her hand flying to her cheek. Her eyes went wide with shock. "You hit me," she said. "You actually hit me." "Tessa." My mom grabbed my arm. "What is wrong with you?" "What's wrong with me? She's been sleeping with Greg for 6 months. She's pregnant with his babies. And you're asking what's wrong with me? You don't hit a pregnant woman," my mom said. "No matter what." I stared at her. "Are you kidding me right now? Violence is never the answer. Violence is never—" I couldn't even finish the sentence. I turned to my dad. "Dad, you have nothing to say about any of this?" My dad was still holding his tongs. He looked at me, then at Ashley, then back at me. I think, he said slowly, that we should all go back to the dining room and discuss this like adults. Discuss this like adults, I repeated. Dad, your daughter has been having an affair with my boyfriend and she's pregnant with twins. What is there to discuss? There are always two sides to every story, he said. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Two sides? Two sides? Tessa, please lower your voice. I laughed. It came out sounding crazy, even to my own ears. You know what? I can't do this. I can't be here right now. I pushed past my mom and started walking toward the front door. Tessa, wait! Greg grabbed my arm. I spun around and looked him dead in the eyes. If you touch me one more time, I said, my voice low and steady, I will make sure you regret it for the rest of your life. He let go. I walked to the front door, grabbed my purse from the hook where I'd hung it when we arrived, and stepped outside into the cool evening air. The sun was setting. The sky was this beautiful orange and pink color that would have been romantic if my entire world hadn't just imploded. I made it to my car before the tears started. I sat in the driver's seat with my hands on the wheel, sobbing so hard I couldn't breathe. Big, ugly, choking sobs that made my whole body shake. Everything was gone. My boyfriend, my sister, my family, all of it. I don't know how long I sat there crying. It felt like hours, but it was probably only 20 minutes. Eventually, my phone started buzzing. Greg, please come back inside and let me explain. Greg, it's not what you think. Greg, I still love you, Tessa. I blocked his number. Then I got a text from my mom. Mom, honey, please come back. We can work this out as a family. I didn't respond. I started my car and pulled out of my parents' driveway. I didn't know where I was going. I just knew I couldn't stay there. I ended up at my friend Willa's apartment. She opened the door and took one look at my face and immediately pulled me into a hug. What happened? She asked. I told her everything. The dinner, the announcement, Greg and Ashley, the twins, all of it. Willa just sat there and listened, her eyes getting wider and wider. Holy shit, she said when I was done. Holy absolute shit. Yeah, your sister has been sleeping with your boyfriend for 6 months, and she's pregnant with twins, and your parents are taking her side? They want to discuss it like adults. Willa shook her head. That's insane. That is genuinely insane. I know. What are you going to do? I looked at her. I have no idea. I stayed at Willa's that night. I couldn't go back to the apartment I shared with Greg. I couldn't face him. I couldn't face any of it. I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Ashley's smug face. I heard Greg's voice saying, it was a mistake. Around 3 a.m., I gave up trying to sleep and just stared at the ceiling, replaying every moment of the past 2 years in my head. All the times Greg had worked late, all the times he'd been too tired to go out, all the times he'd seemed distracted when I was talking to him. Had he been with Ashley during all of those times? I thought about Ashley's wedding. 3 weeks after I got my first real job, I'd spent the entire weekend helping with centerpieces and place cards and seating charts while she glowed in her white dress and everyone talked about how beautiful she was. Brad had seemed so happy that day, so in love. Did he know then? Was he already aware that his bride was sleeping with her sister's boyfriend? The more I thought about it, the more questions I had. The next morning, my phone was full of messages. 12 texts from Greg that I couldn't read because I'd blocked him. 4 missed calls from my mom. 1 text from my dad that just said, call your mother. Nothing from Ashley. Willa made me coffee and toast and sat with me at her kitchen table. You should take the day off work, she said. I can't. We're short-staffed. Tessa, your life just exploded. Nobody would blame you for taking a personal day. I need something to do. If I just sit around, I'll go crazy. So I went to work. I made lattes and smiled at customers and pretended everything was fine. It was the longest 8-hour shift of my life. When I got home to Willa's apartment, since I still couldn't face going to my own place, I found my mom waiting outside the building. Tessa, she said, standing up from the bench where she'd been sitting. We need to talk. I don't want to talk. Please, just give me 5 minutes. I should have said no. I should have walked right past her and gone inside. But she was my mom. Even after everything, she was still my mom. 5 minutes, I said. We sat on the bench together. It was cold out and I wished I'd grabbed a heavier jacket. Your father and I have been talking, my mom said. And we think you need to apologize to Ashley. I actually laughed. You're joking. I'm not joking. What you did last night was unacceptable. You lied about being pregnant. You hit your sister. You caused a scene. Mom, Ashley has been sleeping with my boyfriend for 6 months. She's having his babies. And you want me to apologize? My mom sighed. Tessa, I know you're hurt. I understand that. But Ashley is pregnant. What about my support? What about what I need? You're not the one carrying twins. I stared at her. Are you seriously using that as an excuse? I'm not making excuses. I'm trying to keep this family together. This family is broken, Mom. Ashley broke it when she decided to sleep with my boyfriend. It takes 2 to tango, my mom said. Greg made choices too. I know he did. That's why I'm done with him. But Ashley is my sister. She's supposed to be on my side. She's supposed to protect me. Instead, she's been sneaking around behind my back, sleeping with my boyfriend, and now she's having his babies. She says it just happened. They didn't plan it. Oh, it just happened? For 6 months? That's a pretty long accident, Mom. My mom reached for my hand. I pulled away. Tessa, please. This is tearing the family apart. I didn't tear it apart. Ashley did. You hit her. She deserved it. Nobody deserves to be hit. I stood up. I can't do this. I can't sit here and listen to you defend her. I'm not defending her. I'm trying to find a path forward. The path forward is Ashley admitting what she did and taking responsibility. Until that happens, I have nothing to say to any of you. I walked inside the building without looking back. That night, Willa helped me make a plan. I couldn't keep sleeping on her couch forever. I needed to figure out my living situation. The apartment I shared with Greg was in both our names. We had 6 months left on the lease. I couldn't afford it on my own, and I sure as hell wasn't going to keep living there with him. You could move in with me, Willa offered. My roommate's moving out next month anyway. You'd really be okay with that? Are you kidding? You're my best friend. Of course I'm okay with it. So that was the living situation sorted. The next step was getting my stuff out of Greg's apartment. I texted him from a new number since I blocked him. Me. I need to come get my things. Will you be there tomorrow at 3? Greg. Tessa? Is that you? I've been trying to call you. Me. Will you be there at 3 or not? Greg. Can we please talk about this? Me. I don't want to talk, I want to get my stuff. Greg. Fine. I'll be there. The next day, I showed up at the apartment with Willa and 2 empty suitcases. Greg was waiting in the living room. He looked terrible. Dark circles under his eyes, stubble on his face, wearing the same shirt he'd had on at the dinner. Tessa, he started. Don't, I said. I'm just here to get my things. Please, can we just talk for 5 minutes? There's nothing to talk about. I made a mistake. A huge mistake. But I love you. I've always loved you. I stopped packing and looked at him. You've always loved me? Is that what you were thinking when you were sleeping with my sister? Is that what you were thinking when you got her pregnant? It didn't mean anything with Ashley. It was just physical. Physical? You got her pregnant with twins, Greg. That's pretty physical. I know. But I don't love her. I love you. Then why did you do it? He sat down on the couch and put his head in his hands. I don't know, he said. I honestly don't know. It started at your cousin's wedding last summer. Ashley and I were talking at the bar and she was upset about something with Brad and I'd had too much to drink and you slept with her. Yes. And then you kept sleeping with her. For 6 months. I tried to end it. Multiple times. But she kept coming back. Don't blame this on her. You made a choice. Every single time, you made a choice. I know. And I hate myself for it. But Tessa, please, we can get past this. We can go to therapy. We can't, I said. We're done. I finished packing my things and left without saying another word. Over the next week, I tried to settle into my new normal. Living at Willa's place, going to work, avoiding calls from my family, but Ashley wasn't ready to let things go. She showed up at my job. I was behind the counter, making a complicated iced drink order, when I heard someone say my name. Tessa, we need to talk. I looked up. There was Ashley, standing in line with her hands on her stomach. She was wearing a flowy dress that showed off her baby bump. I'm working. I can wait. She sat down at a table in the corner and pulled out her phone. I could feel her eyes on me the entire time. When my shift ended an hour later, she was still there. What do you want? I asked, standing at her table with my arms crossed. Sit down. I'd rather stand, she sighed. Fine. Be difficult. What do you want, Ashley? I want to clear the air. Clear the air? You've been sleeping with my boyfriend for 6 months. There's nothing to clear. I know you're upset. Upset doesn't even begin to cover it. But I think we need to talk about how we move forward. I laughed. Move forward? There is no moving forward. You destroyed my relationship. You destroyed our sisterhood. It's over. It doesn't have to be over, Ashley said. We're family. Family sticks together. Family doesn't sleep with each other's boyfriends. It just happened, Tessa. I didn't plan it. Neither did Greg. We were both going through stuff and we found comfort in each other and found comfort in each other. Are you serious right now? You got pregnant. Keep your voice down. I looked around. A few customers were staring at us. I didn't care. You want me to keep my voice down? After everything you've done? Ashley stood up. You know what? I thought we could handle this like adults. But clearly you're not mature enough for that. I'm not mature enough? You're the one who's been sneaking around with my boyfriend. Greg came to me, Tessa. He came to me because you weren't giving him what he needed. What? You heard me. You were always too busy with work, too tired to go out, too focused on yourself to pay attention to him. So this is my fault? You sleeping with my boyfriend is my fault? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there are 2 sides to every story. There's one side. You betrayed me. End of story. Ashley shook her head. You've always been like this. So dramatic. So unable to see anyone else's perspective. I don't need to see your perspective. Your perspective is wrong. Whatever. I tried. I wanted to give you a chance to be in your nieces' or nephews' lives. But if you're going to be like this, be in their lives? The babies that you're having with my ex-boyfriend? They're still going to be your family, Tessa. Whether you like it or not. I don't want anything to do with them. Or with you. Ashley's face hardened. Fine. Don't come crying to me when you realize what you've given up. She walked out of the coffee shop without looking back. I stood there shaking, trying to process what had just happened. My coworker Ronan came up to me. Hey, you okay? That looked intense. I'm fine, I lied. But I wasn't fine. I was so far from fine, I couldn't even see fine anymore. That night, I called my dad. I didn't know why. Maybe I was hoping for something different than what I'd gotten from my mom. Tessa, he said when he picked up. I'm glad you called. Did you know? I asked. Did I know what? About Ashley and Greg. Did you know before the dinner? A long pause. Dad? I had suspicions. My blood ran cold. Suspicions? I saw them together once. A few months ago. At a restaurant. They were sitting very close. I didn't want to believe it, so I told myself I'd imagined it. You saw them together and you didn't tell me? I didn't know for sure, Tessa. And I didn't want to cause problems. Cause problems? Dad. You watched me date Greg for 2 years, knowing there was a chance he was cheating on me with Ashley. I said I wasn't sure. But you suspected. And you said nothing. Another pause. I didn't want to be wrong, he said quietly. I didn't want to accuse Ashley of something she might not have done. So you protected Ashley. As usual. That's not fair, isn't it? It's always been Ashley first. My whole life. Ashley gets the attention. Ashley gets the benefit of the doubt. Ashley gets everything. And I get nothing. We love you both equally. No, you don't. If you loved me equally, you would have told me what you saw. You would have warned me. Instead, you let me walk around like an idiot for months while my boyfriend was sleeping with my sister. I hung up. My phone immediately started ringing again. I turned it off. The next few weeks were a blur. I threw myself into work, picking up extra shifts whenever I could. I didn't want to have time to think. Thinking led to remembering, and remembering led to pain. Willa tried to get me to go out, to do normal things, to have fun, but I couldn't. The idea of being around happy couples, of seeing people in love, made me want to scream. One night, about a month after the dinner, I was scrolling through Instagram when I saw it. Ashley had posted a picture, her and Brad, smiling at the camera, with a caption that said, "Excited for this next chapter." The comments were full of congratulations, heart emojis, people saying how cute they looked together. Brad, her husband, the man who knew about the affair and said nothing. I clicked on his profile. He hadn't posted anything in weeks, but I scrolled through his old photos anyway, pictures of him and Ashley at their wedding, on vacation, at family dinners. He looked happy in all of them. I thought about what Ashley had said at the coffee shop, about Brad knowing for weeks, about how they were handling things. How were they handling things? Was Brad really okay with raising twins that weren't his? Was their marriage even real anymore? I couldn't stop thinking about it. Finally, I did something I probably shouldn't have done. I messaged Brad. Me. Can we talk? Just the two of us? It took him 3 hours to respond. Brad. Yeah. Okay. Coffee tomorrow? We met at a cafe on the other side of town. Somewhere neither of us would run into anyone we knew. Brad looked different than I remembered. Thinner. Tired. Like he hadn't been sleeping well. Thanks for meeting me, I said. Sure. We sat in awkward silence for a minute. So I finally said, "How are you? Handling all this?" Brad laughed bitterly. Handling it? I'm not handling it. I'm just existing. You knew. Before the dinner. Ashley said you knew. Yeah, I found out about 2 months ago. How? He took a sip of his coffee. I saw texts on her phone. She'd left it unlocked on the kitchen counter. I wasn't snooping. I just saw. What did you do? Confronted her. She cried. Said it was a mistake. Said it was over. But it wasn't over. No, it wasn't. Why did you stay? Brad looked at me. His eyes were red-rimmed. Because I love her, he said. Because we'd already been together for 5 years. Because I thought we could work through it. And now? Now that she's pregnant? He was quiet for a long moment. She told me the twins might be Greg's, he finally said. A few weeks before the dinner. She wanted to do a paternity test after they were born. But what? But I told her I didn't want to know. I said if we were going to stay together, I'd raise them as mine regardless. I stared at him. You'd raise another man's children? I'd raise Ashley's children. That's what matters to me. Even after everything she's done? People make mistakes, Tessa. This isn't a mistake. This is a 6-month affair. I know what it is. You don't need to tell me. We sat there in silence again. Can I ask you something? Brad said. Sure. Why did you lie? At the dinner? About being pregnant? I felt my face get hot. It was stupid. I know it was stupid. I was just so angry that she was stealing my moment again. She's always done that. My whole life, every important thing I've ever accomplished, she's found a way to make it about her. So you lied to get attention. I lied because I was hurt and angry. And I wanted, for once, for someone to notice, Emmy. Brad nodded slowly. I get that. You do? Yeah. Ashley. She has a way of being the center of everything. It's one of the things that attracted me to her. But it's also exhausting sometimes. Why do you stay? Because I love her, he said again. Like it was that simple. Maybe for him it was. I went home that night feeling more confused than ever. Brad was staying with Ashley, raising her babies, forgiving her affair. My parents wanted me to apologize, to move forward, to act like nothing had happened. Greg was still texting me from random numbers, begging for another chance. And Ashley. Ashley was posting happy photos on Instagram like she'd done nothing wrong. Was I the crazy one? Was I overreacting? I called Willa. Can you come home? I asked. I need to talk. She was there in 20 minutes. I told her everything. About my conversation with Brad. About how everyone seemed to think I should just get over it. Am I wrong? I asked. Am I being unreasonable? Willa looked at me like I'd grown a second head. Are you serious right now? I don't know anymore. Everyone keeps telling me to move on, to forgive, to be the bigger person. Maybe they're right. Maybe I'm holding on to this too tight. Tessa, your sister slept with your boyfriend for 6 months. She got pregnant. She announced it at a dinner you planned. And your family is taking her side. You are not overreacting. But what if? There's no what if. What Ashley did is unforgivable. Full stop. And anyone who tells you otherwise is either delusional or complicit. I felt tears prick my eyes. I don't understand how they can all act like this is normal. Like I'm the problem. Because it's easier, Willa said. It's easier to blame you than to face the fact that Ashley did something horrible. They don't want to deal with the reality of who she really is. So what do? You stop waiting for them to see the truth. You stop hoping they'll come around. And you start building a life without them. I don't know if I can do that. You can. And you will. Because you're stronger than you think, Tessa. That night, I made a decision. I wasn't going to wait for an apology that was never coming. I wasn't going to keep reaching out, hoping my family would choose me. I was going to move on. But before I could do that, there was one more person I needed to talk to. I called Ashley. Tessa? She sounded surprised. Why are you calling? I need to say something. And then I'm done. Okay. I took a deep breath. You've been stealing from me my whole life. My accomplishments, my moments, my attention. I let it happen because I thought that's just how sisters were. I thought eventually you'd grow up and we'd be close like other siblings are. Tessa, I'm not finished. What you did with Greg, that was the final straw. You didn't just take my boyfriend. You took my ability to trust. My ability to believe that the people I love won't hurt me. You did mean to. You knew exactly what you were doing. And you did it anyway. Because you've never cared about anyone but yourself. I could hear Ashley starting to cry on the other end of the line. I'm calling to tell you that I'm done. I continued. I'm not going to fight with you anymore. I'm not going to try to make you understand how much you've hurt me. I'm just done. You're not my sister anymore. You're just someone I used to know. Tessa, please, we can fix this. We're family. Family doesn't do what you did. Goodbye, Ashley. I hung up. My hand was shaking. My heart was pounding. But for the first time in weeks, I felt lighter, like a weight had been lifted off my chest. I blocked Ashley's number, then my mom's, then my dad's. I was starting over. 3 months passed. I'd moved into Willa's apartment officially. I got promoted at work to assistant manager. I started going to therapy to process everything. The therapist helped me see patterns I'd never noticed before. How my family had always prioritized Ashley. How I'd been conditioned to accept less. How I'd spent my whole life trying to earn love that should have been given freely. It wasn't easy. There were days when I missed my mom. When I wanted to call my dad and ask his advice about something. When I thought about Ashley and wondered if the babies had been born yet. But I was healing. Slowly. One afternoon, I was working at the coffee shop when a woman came in. She looked familiar, but I couldn't place her. Tessa? She said. Yes? I'm Louisa, Greg's sister. I tensed up. What do you want? Just to talk. 5 minutes. Please. Against my better judgment, I agreed to meet her during my break. I want to apologize, Louisa said. On behalf of my family, what Greg did was disgusting. We didn't raise him to be like that. Thank you, I said stiffly. But you don't need to apologize for him. I know, but I wanted you to know that we don't support him. When he told us what happened, my mom was so angry she didn't speak to him for 2 weeks. Good. He's not with Ashley, by the way, if that matters. I looked up. What? After everything came out, they tried being together. For like a month. It was a disaster. They fought constantly. She was still technically married to Brad, and Greg realized he'd destroyed his life for someone he didn't even really like. What happened? He moved back home with our parents. He's been seeing a therapist, trying to figure out why he did what he did. I don't care about Greg's journey of self-discovery, I said. I know. I wanted you to know that there have been consequences. He hasn't gotten away with it. That was something, at least. After Louisa left, I sat there thinking, Ashley and Greg weren't together. Their affair had destroyed everything, and they hadn't even ended up together. All that pain, all that betrayal, for nothing. I went back to work feeling something I hadn't felt in months. Hope. Maybe karma was real after all. 2 weeks later, I got a message on Facebook from someone I didn't know. Her name was Vera. She said she was Brad's cousin. Vera. Hi, Tessa. I know this is out of nowhere, but I thought you should know something. Ashley and Brad are getting divorced. It came out that she'd been cheating on him even before Greg. Multiple times. With multiple people. He finally had enough. I thought you'd want to know. I read the message 3 times. Ashley had been cheating on Brad even before Greg. I thought about what she'd said at the dinner. How she'd accused me of being jealous. How she'd acted like she was the victim. She'd been cheating the whole time. Their whole marriage was a lie. I messaged Vera back. Me, thank you for telling me. How is Brad? Vera. He's a mess. But he's finally seeing who she really is. Sometimes it takes people a while. Me. Yeah, it does. I put my phone down and took a deep breath. Everything I'd thought I knew about Ashley was wrong. She wasn't just someone who'd made a mistake with my boyfriend. She was a serial cheater, a manipulator, someone who'd built her entire life on lies, and now it was all falling apart. I wish I could say I felt bad for her, but I didn't. I felt relieved. Because finally, everyone would see who she really was. Finally, the golden child's halo was crumbling. It took another month before the full story came out. Willa sent me a link to a private Facebook group for our hometown. Someone had posted about Ashley. Apparently, she'd been cheating on Brad for years, with at least 4 different men. Greg was just the most recent. Brad had confronted her after finding evidence of the other affairs. She'd tried to deny it, but there was too much proof. Credit card statements, hotel receipts, texts she thought she deleted. He'd filed for divorce immediately. And then, the paternity test came back. The twins weren't Greg's. They weren't Brad's either. They belonged to someone else entirely. A guy named Devin, that Ashley had been seeing on the side for 2 years. Devin was married with 3 kids of his own. When his wife found out, she left him. Ashley was alone, pregnant with twins whose father was a man she destroyed another family to be with, a man who wanted nothing to do with her or the babies. I heard from Vera that Ashley had tried to go back to Greg. He'd refused. She'd tried to reconcile with Brad. He'd refused too. She'd even tried to come back to our parents' house. And that's when everything finally shifted. My mom called me. I'd unblocked her number 2 months ago, but she hadn't reached out until now. "Tessa," she said. Her voice was quiet, tired. "I owe you an apology." I sat down on my bed, phone pressed to my ear. "I'm listening. I was wrong. About everything. About Ashley. About how we treated you. About asking you to apologize. All of it. I didn't say anything. We found out about the other affairs," my mom continued. "About Devin. About all the lies. Your father and I. We didn't want to believe it. We kept making excuses for her, kept telling ourselves it wasn't that bad. But it is that bad. It's worse than we ever imagined." "I know," I said. "She's been lying to all of us for years, and I defended her. I took her side over yours. I'm so sorry." "Tessa." I felt tears start to roll down my cheeks. "I needed to hear that," I said. "I needed to hear that a long time ago." "I know. And I'm sorry it took me so long." We talked for an hour. My mom told me everything. How Ashley had come home after Brad filed for divorce, expecting to be welcomed back. How she'd lied about Devin, claiming the babies were definitely Brad's. How the paternity test had exposed all of it. "She's living in a motel now," my mom said. "Devin doesn't want anything to do with her. His wife is threatening to sue her for alienation of affection. Brad is moving across the country to start over. She has nobody." "Good," I said. "Tessa, I'm sorry, Mom. I know she's your daughter. But after everything she's done, I can't feel sorry for her. I understand. I don't blame you." We made plans to have lunch. Just me and my mom. Baby steps toward rebuilding something. I hung up feeling something I hadn't felt in months. Closure. The next week, I saw Ashley for the first time since the coffee shop. She was at the grocery store. She looked terrible. Huge pregnant belly, greasy hair, sweatpants that had seen better days. She saw me at the same time I saw her. For a moment, we just stared at each other across the produce section. Then she started walking toward me. "Tessa," she said when she reached me. "Can we talk? There's nothing to talk about. Please. I need you to know that I'm sorry. For everything." I looked at her. My sister. The person I'd grown up with. The person who'd stolen everything from me. "Sorry doesn't fix this, Ashley. I know. I know it doesn't. But I'm trying to be better. I'm going to therapy. I'm working on myself. Good for you. I want you in my life. You and the babies. I want to be a family again." I shook my head. "That's not going to happen." "Why not?" "Because you haven't changed. You're only sorry because you got caught. You're only sorry because your life fell apart. If you'd gotten away with it, you'd still be lying to everyone." "That's not true." "Yes, it is. You've been cheating and lying for years. You hurt Brad. You hurt Greg. You hurt Devin's wife and kids. You hurt me. And you would have kept hurting people if you hadn't been exposed." Ashley's eyes filled with tears. "I'm a different person now." "No, you're not. You're just a person who ran out of options. When you have options again, you'll go back to your old ways. Because that's who you are." I picked up my grocery basket. "Goodbye, Ashley." I walked away without looking back. That night, I told Willa about the encounter. "How do you feel?" she asked. "Free," I said. "I finally feel free." And it was true. For the first time in my life, I wasn't waiting for Ashley to be a good sister. I wasn't hoping my parents would notice me. I wasn't bending over backward to earn love from people who should have given it unconditionally. I was just me, and me was enough.